thank you. Thank you very much for coming to listen to us today. And it's an opportunity to talk. I've been involved in computing for quite some time from us, and it's one of those ones to understand. It's an exciting time in computing. It really is. Stuff's changing continuously from us. At the minute, though, we're seeing massive changes inside the industry from us at this moment in time, and what they need. And again, I want to try and stress to you here from us about why the University of Staffordshire is sort of different, and what we're trying to do, and why we're actually we're doing very well. If you search for our NSS scores at the moment on Google, we use that as an example from us, as we just come at 7th in the country. We're doing extremely well from us, and computing is changing. It's changing massively from us. What we're doing with it, it's now to the point where it's almost everywhere. We're realistically, for a lot of people, they're using computing every day. They just don't realise. And again, it's that viewpoint. So we want to try and get into these degrees, into our awards, which we have successfully got into our awards for us, regarding, well, what is changing? How's it changing? What's the impact? And again, we're not thinking about, we'll talk about this later on, really. I don't want to thinking about stuff which was like 10, 15 years ago. Well, that's not industry now. Industry's not sitting there in 10, 15 years ago technology. What they're looking for is the next new big idea. It's the next thing they can actually start working with. You know, we can see at this moment in time from us, as AI, it's everywhere on a global basis, whether you see it in your Meta glasses through to your mobile phone with AI into it. My car, I noticed at the weekend, was it last weekend? Last weekend, I think it was. I was from us, has suddenly now picked up AI from us. And again, it's that viewpoint. The technology, been around for a long time. What companies are now doing is starting seeing where they can actually start introducing it, and to some respects, start to see where they can make some of the money back from this. Obviously, it's an expensive technology, but we're going to go on to that, and we'll talk about that later on. So who am I, realistically, from us? I suppose the most important thing from us. So I've put the picture on here to try and get across. My colleagues, we were all here at an AWS, Amazon Web Services conference, and from us last year from this, and I am here with the arrow over the top myself, make myself look subtle, all from us, which is Justin Champion. I teach in quite a few different areas on the MSc courses. I teach the networking from us, and I teach all the cloud computing. Depending on which route you go down, a particular choice, we'll have a look at those in a moment. We'll also, with myself and Carlin, we'll also teach all of the DevOps and writing software for the cloud. And again, it's that viewpoint of not just what the old thing is of just writing software. Well, actually, lots of companies, as we'll show in a little bit, I want to try and get across this viewpoint of it's changing from us and now putting software into the cloud. You can just put any software into the cloud in reality from us, but no, if you write cloud aware software, we can start getting the benefits, and that's where the company's actually at. And again, I'm part of that teaching team with us. Data analytics, I teach on the undergraduate courses. My major role from us is the Director of Research Computing. So after you've done your postgraduate studies, maybe it's part of your dissertation, you really enjoyed it, you can see as some work you can move on to, we can move forward on to research. And remember, what is research now becomes the industry in 2 or 3 years' time in a lot of cases. You look at most things, the big industry developments, they started off as research projects that just simply got built up and became commercial. The companies are there looking at what the state-of-the-art research. They have people themselves inside the employment organisations. The bigger players have research teams, very large research teams, simply because they want to come up with the next idea. What's the next thing that's going to make them money? What's the thing that's going to move them forward, basically, and give them an edge over the competitor? Very often, the edge over the competitor is only for a short time. It doesn't matter. It's still that edge over the competitor. We always want this bringing in from us. All our teaching will involve some of this research anyway, realistically. So why computing with us from us? Well, we want to try and get to these viewpoints. So I'm going to show you some stuff from these. We're linked in the business. We're trying to continuously adapt and change things to what the industry requires. We're not teaching things which are good 20 years ago from us. So you can be the best C programmer on the planet. There are jobs in C, of course there are. I'll be around for a very long time as a software engineering thing, but those are getting a lot more restricted down, a lot more limited. So what we want to teach you is the principles, understanding how do we get to this. So in other words, again, I'm choosing software engineering as an example, or just as something different from us, but what is state of the art? What is changing? We want to give you that confidence, that skill, to be able to simply change. If all of a sudden now you're really good at, I'm going to say Python as a language because I use it for AWS all the time, it's easy. And then all of a sudden the employer comes along and saying, well, actually, we want to use Go now as a new language. We've read about it. It's supposed to be very efficient. We'll make use of that. Well, okay. But you've not just simply tied yourself down to only being good at one thing. We want to give you that skill set, that confidence to be able to adapt. And that's the same for all of them, whether in cybersecurity, networking, whichever. I'll go through those groups we've got in a moment, basically, what awards we actually offer from this. We wanted to give that level of confidence that it's not just about learning exact skill, it's learning how to learn. It's important. And that came from things like businesses. They fed that into us. That was part of what they were saying. Said, look, we do want people, of course we want people who understand how to do certain things and understand certain technologies, which is why we're always working with the industry, state-of-the-art technologies. But they want people who can learn how to learn. That's important from us. I want to try and get across as well this point around here, which is break down geographical, social, political boundaries and globally unified. Well, that is IT. That's the reality of it. In this day and age from us, it is a global organisation now. If I go back a few years, is from us, let's just target from us, someone you've heard of, Silicon Valley. Everything was run out of Silicon Valley, and really the state-of-the-art stuff always had to be out of Silicon Valley. They had the computing hardware, they had the people there, all the resources were there, and probably the attitude and that mindset that they were going to always develop new ideas, and lots of good stuff came out of Silicon Valley. We've moved away from that now. I'm currently sitting here in Cheshire, talking to you now from us wherever you are in the world. Well, actually, straight away is the thing here now. We're communicating, we're chatting. We could also, in this particular case, it's one-way sort of chat, and we're literally going through why the university computing. Just as easily, we could be working together now on a project, working on some database to do some data analytics, working on something, let's say, testing out an AI algorithm to see whether it works better on our data sets than other ones. We could be doing all of that. So really now you find that through this technology, and we'll discuss that later on, some other technology, cloud computing from us, that really the world is much smaller now. We're not tied into geographical areas and you've got to be in this area to do something from us. We can work a lot of stuff remotely from us. We can be part of larger teams. Its benefits, again, disadvantages. There is always advantages and disadvantages from these, but it opens up an incredible number of opportunities. You could be working here, living in Stoke-on-Trent, working for a company in Germany, which I know Carolyn, who can't make it to this session unfortunately, he was advertising last year that we had literally Germany wanted to hire, a company in Germany wanted to hire some of our students, and at which point they didn't need to move to Germany. They were going to be working remotely from those ones. And it's understanding that, how this globe works together, and also understanding different ways that people actually work, different sort of social norms. But again, all of that feeds into our systems we do from us at this moment in time. Ourselves, we're always working, like I said, we've been doing computing for a very long time. We're one of the first universities to offer computing degrees. We're very successful now offering them from us. Like I said, search for the NSS and you'll see our computer science degrees. I've done extremely well in these. How? Well, we're working on state-of-the-art equipment. We're giving you the right mindset. We're adjusting things based on what the industry wants. Like I said, I've listed down here for us some of the industry partners. There's lots of companies which feed in, but also as they recruit graduates, companies feed back in again. They say, actually, that's fine. We need this one from us. And again, it's that mindset. It's not, like I said, I want to try and get away from this thing of I'm going to learn X. What we want to do is learn how to learn X. Therefore, when X becomes Y, and I said earlier on C++ becomes Go, you've still got that set. That's what the companies want. They don't just want someone who can do this. They're absolutely brilliant at doing this one thing, but we're going to change it now. So our company's adapted and we're going to change to some other technology. You can change with them because you know how to do it. And that's part of what we're trying to get you to think about, what that industry is actually about, basically, from these ones. When you're with us, studying with us, again, make sure you do these things. We give you the opportunity to do things like qualifications. So in this case, we've got listed CCNA, AWS qualifications. I know there's Microsoft, there's some cybersecurity qualifications. Some of those you can do the industry certs completely free. The companies cover them. Some of them you have to just contribute a small amount of money. So they'll cover like 80% of the cost. You contribute 20% from those ones. And again, these might change from us. That's reality. But it's always about we pick the best and we're changing these things continuously. It might be possible that We'll just say in this case, Amazon Web Service, AWS, say we're not offering that now. That's fine. No problems, that's adjusted. But we'll look at other ones, and we're always trying to get you to that knowledge set. It makes you different for the employers. So what have you done? You did my degree. That's great. You got a distinction. Fantastic. What else did you do? Silence. Well, no, actually, I also studied towards, I didn't pass it, but I also studied towards my, I'm going to say network in this case, my CCNA. Straight away, the employers are seeing you going enthusiastic. You didn't pass because you never got around to actually taking the cert, but you've also got that. And also at that point, they're going, well, actually, you said you know something about networking. On the basis of what you just said, I know what you actually know in networking because they'll have those same industry certifications from us. Again, from us viewpoints, everything's about industry. So look at the hardware again for us. For ourselves, you can see our racks. This is just purely networking equipment. You can see down here in the bottom right-hand corner. From us, get the mouse to go bigger. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll all go bigger. From us, we're using the state-of-the-art hardware. We're not using stuff which is years old, and in the networking field, you're working on a cheap TP-Link switch. Well, fine. I've got a TP-Link switch myself at home, but I wouldn't dream of running a commercial company on it. So we're using Cisco equipment. Same with the software. We're not just using MySQL as a database technology. We've got access to Oracle, the enterprise grade in databases. So it's all about the right hardware with our labs being updated continuously with lots of RAM. We use lots of virtual machines to let you set up your own software from us. And we have the hardware and the software you require. And again, what hardware and software is what the industry tells us those students actually need, and we follow that quite closely realistically from these ones because we want you to be employable. It might be when you finish, you, as I said earlier on, you might want to continue on and go on to research. No problems at all. Obviously, chat to myself about that. That's absolutely not an issue. Lots of our MSCs do. You might want to go into the industry, and again, what we don't want you doing is walking into the industry and then going, well, I've no idea how to use Oracle. They're looking at you going, well, everyone uses Oracle. It's a massive database technology that everyone else is very similar to from us. Well, you've already used those ones. We have got a lot of staff, highly qualified. The majority of our staff that teach at the university all hold doctorates. They have a lot of industry experience, which they bring into this. I also like the fact that the surrounding teaching. So again, because they have doctorates, they're involved with the research at the university. That then becomes, hopefully, research they're doing now becomes the industry standard at some later stage. It's important to bring this stuff in. We want you thinking about not what was 5 years old, not what's here today, what's coming tomorrow. Like I said, I can say now AI, just because it's everywhere at this moment in time as I record this particular session from us. 2 years' time, is that going to be the one? Or what's going to be the new? What's replacing that? Where's our new sets of thoughts? And again, moving, not everything that we look at in research becomes completely successful all from us, and industry moves away from certain technologies from us, and that's again absolutely fine as long as you understood the things about these. We're also very good at bringing in sort of commercial talks and industry speakers. From those, they can be where they're actually physically on site. We get those. We had some from Arista last year, flew in from the United States to give a talk to the students. We have other people coming in from different locations. But on top of that, what we do is we try and get you into talks which are ones that intended for the industry, not for students, industry talks. So certainly Callan organised some AWS ones where we just sent out saying, well, look, do you want to listen to what's going on in the field of cybersecurity at the minute from the viewpoint of cloud computing? And people did, and they listened, but they weren't listening as a student. The rest of the audience wasn't a student. What they were was people basically in those where basically they were for the industry, you were just listening. The questions they were asking were what the industry was actually caring about at this moment in time, and the knowledge that those companies were giving was not pushed towards students of understanding things. It was about the industry. It's so important. We want to make sure you've got that skill set that you do very well. Like I said, when you want to go to research afterwards, or you want to go into employment, you've got that you're walking in there confident to actually do extremely well from us, not just simply walk in and going, oh, I hope I get this, I hope I can talk about this enough. Well, no, that's not what we want. We want you to be the best that there can be, and we're driving you towards that continuously. So what do we offer as awards? We've got a number of MSc awards: business computing, cloud and networking, computer science, cybersecurity, and software engineering. Now, I've already put the link, if you look on the chat, for where this is. If I just give me 1 second, opened up, that's it. Oh, there we go. There you go, our postgraduate courses. I'll give you the link on here so you can have a look at these ones. So if I just target in this particular case, oh, I don't know, I'm going to go for computer science, the only one I haven't mentioned so far from us. Just to pick one, you'll find the details on here. It's a little bit slow loading, not because anything wrong with the university website. It's down to the fact I'm streaming off a home computer and I've maxed out my network connection. I suspect also people are using my network connection elsewhere in the house. Right, so in here, it gives you the breakdown of what you need to actually study from us, basically. And those are the compulsory modules you require for here: computer and operating systems, research methods, software engineering principles and practice. And then you can choose some of the option modules from us. Some of these I teach from us. So virtualization and infrastructure I teach on a personal basis from us. So cloud computing I teach from this. But again, you go to the direction you want to go. To me, the most important part is like keeping up with it. So for example here, quantum computing. Okay, so that's going beyond simple AI, which is the sort of machine learning stuff in this. We're now looking at quantum computing because we might need that in a couple of years. They keep on discussing it. It's getting closer and closer. You'll see lots of stuff regarding quantum computing at this moment in time. Lots of companies are putting money into that sort of technology from that. And again, we need to know that understanding. So right now, you're going to use a quantum computer? Unlikely, realistically. You can use one in the cloud, but you're not likely to be using it. In a few years' time, that might become much more regular at the large-scale businesses. And again, is that the little business which is sitting in where I'm in Cheshire at this moment in time? No, that's not what we're looking for you to be. That's not what we're trying to get you to do. We're trying to get you to the mindset where you're thinking about the big global players. And that's the mindset we want you to think about. Probably the most important part of your award, whatever one you choose from us, is the dissertation. It's worth a large part of your marks. It's from us, your final grade, but also, more importantly, let's go back to the other ones, on from these ones, it gives us an opportunity to do what you want to do. I'm really into computer science. I'm just going to say robotics. It's the obvious one for me from us. I'd like to have a go at some robotics. I'd like to have a look at some intelligent machines, realistically. Well, why not do that? What's stopping you on that dissertation doing a piece of work like that? But also, that dissertation, because you've done a piece of work yourself and something you're really interested in, why not sell that to the employers? As in, well, look, this is what I'm capable of actually doing. On the other modules, I was forced to do them because I had to pass them. Dissertation is something you want to do from us, basically, and it's a really good selling feature. You find lots of employers, as when they come to your interviews, where they're physically chatting to you, they'll ask, well, what do you do as a dissertation? Why did you do that? What did you get out of it? And these are important questions. Again, everything we're doing is about being linked into that industry from us. As you can see on here, we have a lot of choices in different areas, from business computing, computer science, software engineering, cybersecurity, cloud and network computing in from us. And we offer some of those again at the London campus and the Stoke campus. You can see on it what's on there. And again, if you go to the chat I put there, I've already put a link there for you so you can see that. And you'll also find my email address there in case you want to email me again later on from us. So what I want to do now is I want to look at this. We're after sort of state-of-the-art knowledge. How's computing changing? It's changing massively. What's changed? I think to me, from us, the two big changes, which to me are the revolution, it's really opened this up, is number one, is networking. We're using it right now. The networking on a global basis has got an awful lot better. Your mobile phones are an example of networking, but commercially from us, we now have the ability to network and communicate. We're doing, like I said, we're doing it right now. I'm in Cheshire from us. I'm not at the university at this moment in time from us. Other people will be at the university from us. Somebody else could be in Australia. We're working together at any moment in time from us. And that's really opened up a lot of things now. So that computer here, which this gentleman's sitting on from us, there's our desktop computer. He's obviously got his own laptop as well from us. It doesn't need to have everything now. It needs to have enough capabilities to be able to go and do something else. So that's the first part, which is networking. The next thing, which has influenced lots of things, is cloud computing. So in summary, cloud computing, we do teach this, and it's covered on all the awards because it's so important if you understand it now. Gives us the ability, in its simplest form, to rent the computer. I don't need now to have a computer which has 128 gigabytes of RAM and whatever, 64 cores of processing power and all this storage, because I can rent that off one of the cloud companies and use that. I could sit here on my little laptop, which is absolutely rubbish, but be doing work as though I'm on an absolute powerhouse computer from us. And that's influenced lots of things. So things like AI, when you're using Meta from us, when you're using Grok, when you're using Claude, Gemini, whichever ones you want to think of, Copilot, yes, one, Microsoft one from us. You're working in cloud computing now. You send the query, you send it to the cloud responds back from us basically and does it. And that has influenced lots of things from cybersecurity. We can analyze log files. As I said, writing software, we can write software now taking account of these computers, or software which is specifically written to actually work in the cloud and understands the cloud. It's influenced lots of things. What we want you to see is why. It's almost everywhere. You don't even realise, to be honest, for the most part, from us. I've put some examples here. I've got a couple of videos. Now, unfortunately, I won't play the videos because they don't play well over MS Teams. If you do want a copy of the PowerPoint slides, we can provide those to you later on. You can watch those videos. But why is it that major corporations, big companies, so we'll just say in this particular case, Volkswagen, BMW, they're global companies. Formula One, they're global. Netflix is certainly global. You may not have heard of EasyJet or Sainsbury's. That's fine. If you're not into games, you may not have heard of Epic. That's absolutely fine from us. They've got plenty of money. We'll say BMW in this case. They've got plenty of cash. So why bother renting? I could buy a computer if I'm BMW, but they don't. They'll rent those resources off one of the cloud companies to actually do their work from us. And it just becomes that question of why. How has this influenced computing? All fields of computing from us so quickly from us. And we'll show you, and I'm going to show you an example of where this has affected it from us. So I'm not going to play this video. I will happy to provide the links for you later on to the PowerPoint, so I'm more than happy to do those ones from us. In this case, you won't know. Like I said, I've put that point, you simply don't know that you're working inside a cloud computer. You might know your mobile phone. It's not storing the pictures, you're storing them in Google Photos or iPhotos, whatever the Apple version's called. That's cloud computing. All of a sudden now, your mobile phone, which in my case is 128 gigabytes of storage, now all of a sudden has access to a couple of terabytes of storage. That's cloud computing for us. And here's an example if you play this game called Call of Duty. I apologise. It's just not Call of Duty, it's on all games realistically in this day and age from us. You can see on here, they're using machine learning in the cloud to personalise how the game is. What we mean by that is, the game's changing. That game is changing in real time. Doesn't matter if one person's playing it, 10 million people or 2,000 people, it makes no difference. They're analysing that information continuously, so that game is really good for you. Not for me, from us, for you. You're better at playing Call of Duty than me. I want it in a rubbish way so it can work for any fool, which is where I am basically. You're really good at that game, therefore it's got to be personalised to be good for you. And they're doing that, and it's in cloud. You're not even thinking about it. You're just sitting on your Xbox playing away on a game from us, your PlayStation, your mobile phone, whatever you want to think about, and it's just working. It's just magic. But it's not magic. And that's what the industry requires. It's people who understand this in the background, how to come up with these ideas and change them. So Call of Duty, you may not play that. Probably more people have seen the Formula One from us as this. And again, it's exactly the same. Cloud computing is happening in the background while you're watching that on the television. If you see it, or if you've seen any follow-ups from us, over here, just look. The video actually gives the full details. Front lockup was the mistake. On turn 10, we've lost 3.51 seconds. So Lando Norris has lost 3.51 seconds. How do we know that? Well, that's cloud computing. It's going in. It's analysing how that person's driving. Not tomorrow, not 3 weeks and giving a report back. It's happening in real time, and it's putting that information onto the television screen while you're actually watching it. It's data analytics, it's cyber security, it's networking and cloud, it's computer science. All of that comes together into producing this piece of information from us, basically. The information's got to be accurate. Otherwise, the viewers will turn off and don't like it, and the broadcasters won't use it from us. We can't have someone hacking in and putting the wrong information into it. We need to pull the correct information, data analytics from this car, to feed it into this, to be able to make that decision to that level of precision, 2 levels of precision, how much data we've actually lost. But you don't think about it. And again, why am I showing you this? I'm going to show you some more stuff from us. I'm showing this because that's what computing is doing now. It's changing. It's everywhere from us. But that's what they want the next level graduates to actually have. It's that skill set, and more importantly, the mindset to understand this and see what's actually going on from it, rather than just accepting this. It's you're the next generation person, as I'll discuss later, feeding in from this. And this is all coming out of simple data analytics, realistically, from us. So let's look at this. This is old. This is traditional. I put on there traditional client server. Doesn't make a difference. You could virtualize this from us, or you can have a physical server. My computer sitting in front of me now from us. It makes no difference from us. You can virtualize it. You can put it into a VM from us, which is, oh, that's state-of-the-art technology. Well, it doesn't change. It isn't really state-of-the-art technology, realistically, not anymore, or from us. So this person is doing something. We'll say he's on the internet. It's a cloud here. We'll just say it's Justin Champion. He wants to know what the NSS scores are for the University of Staffordshire for this year. And Justin, I listened to a talk and he said it was really good. So I want to check that Justin's not lying and it's correct information. So you're going to go into Google and send a message across to a Google server, and Google will get the information and return it back to you. This server here has to have enough compute power, enough memory, enough resources, whether that's networking, whether it's memory, CPU, whatever else, bandwidth from us, storage, to be able to answer that query. Now in this case, it's quite straightforward. This is just Justin Champion requesting that information. It's not particularly a large challenge for us. It's very straightforward. It'll work. But what happens when more people want to connect? Again, remember, I don't want you thinking about working for small organizations where it's like 1 or 2 users. Your mindset should be towards the ones where it's thousands of users, and then at which point you scale it down rather than scaling up. So in this case now, we've got 8 users trying to request the same information. Right, so what spec of computer does this require? Well, it needs a completely different spec from 1 person to 8 people. This will have to have an awful lot more compute. But the point is, while these are all working, because they all want the same response time, they all want a response within 100 milliseconds to whatever they've sent, this now needs lots of RAM. When you've only got 1 person using it, then all that RAM is wasted. This server is now costing an awful lot more money than it needed to be, and it becomes expensive. Now it's bound around the right spec, and we've got to constantly change it. So what's changing? What's actually happening in here to make things change a little bit from us? This technology called serverless. And again, I want you thinking about state-of-the-art technology. So serverless is where you have a server where you don't manage it. Serverless just means that somebody else is managing it. Now, in this particular case, it's like my AWS background from us, and we give you access to do stuff. We've got AWS Lambda in here, which is our serverless technology. All we do is put the software now that I was running on this server here, and I put it onto this server here from us. Now it becomes the responsibility of, in my case, AWS Amazon Web Services, to look after that server and make sure it's actually operating. Whenever it's called, it will simply operate from us. And when it comes to paying for it, I only pay for the compute time I actually use. Seems like the most minor thing ever, but it is so important in the industry at this moment in time. In fact, it's been important for a long time, which is why serverless technology from all the different providers has taken off to us. Like I said, you might use this technology. If I can bring up thingy again from us, give me 1 second. Use. Just quickly, give me a second. Put on the screen. There you go. I'll shut this down from us. You can see this now. You're using that technology now. There you go. This is running off serverless. So the BBC are only paying, this is BBC News from us basically, for things when it's literally only when it's actually required from us basically. Whenever I click on it, there you go. Is Assassin's Creed worth 13 years worth of wait? We'll never know. I never play games that much. But anyway, we see the viewpoint from us. So it's so important and so widely used. You don't know it because there's no reason why you should know it. It's just simply working in the background. But as a computer science person, software engineering, cybersecurity, you will know about this. So what is it doing? Well, it's a virtual server. So in this particular case, we'll just say 100 milliseconds response time for anything which Justin sends into this server to request what the NSS results actually are for us. Now, nobody's requesting anything. So we'll just say it's midnight at the University of Staffordshire. No one's in the buildings, no one's using anything. The point about this is you pay nothing for it. This is not costing me anything. If I go back to the physical box, this is now midnight and no one's using it. Is that costing me money? Well, yeah, it is. I'll turn it off. It's still costing you money. It's devaluing. And these will cost a very large quantity of money, and they're not cheap by any stretch of imagination. We spent 60,000 on one server last year, year before from us, basically. This is still valuing. The fact no one's using it is a bad luck situation. You're still paying for it. In this world, no one uses it. You don't pay for it. It's completely free. from us. When it goes the opposite direction and we scale up and we now have lots of users using it, so will this. It will scale up automatically. I don't have to go back and readjust it. I don't rewrite my code. I don't need to go and adjust the RAM, the CPU and everything. Every person will get the same 100 millisecond response time that they were actually expecting. It works extremely well from us, basically, from this. And it's part of that, again, that thought process. I want you thinking about the industry, what it's actually doing, rather than just the traditional industry from us. So you can have this thought now going, well, that cloud's doing something for us, and this cloud's working lots of things. Like I said, your AI is coming out of this, your analytics, your cyber things. It doesn't get rid of you. That's the point about it. The work is being done on a computer which belongs elsewhere, which belongs inside Azure, Google, IBM. I'm trying to think of the other ones from us. Obviously, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure. That doesn't change your skill set. That doesn't change what you need. Like I said, the thing about you is you bring ideas in. You're not worried now, you're not restricted. So I've got this brilliant idea to make money for this company, but I'm going to have to buy an NVIDIA graphics card that's going to cost me 30-odd thousand to test this out. The company's highly unlikely, unless it's a very big company, unlikely to give you 30,000 to try an idea out on an NVIDIA graphics card. In the cloud, we can borrow it, we can test it for a couple of hours, and then just basically shut it down and get rid of it and return it back. So it lets me experiment with new ideas from these particular ones from us. We're not getting rid of anything. We're not getting rid of your skill set. We're improving it. We are getting rid of some things from us, the complexity of running the server. That becomes an issue for the cloud company to actually deal with. But your skill sets and where you are does not change. I want to stress that one for you, basically. If anything, not sure we put it on that. Oh, there you go. From us, I did put it across the bottom there. If anything, from the company's viewpoint, you're more important than ever, because they need that next idea. We're not sitting here now looking at ideas which are 10 years old going, that'll make me money. Look at Meta as an example. Have they sat still for Facebook and that's it? Oh, we've got Facebook, it's a great product. Yeah, we'll just keep making money off Facebook. No, they kept on changing. They kept on adapting and bringing new products out. Same with Google, same with Microsoft, same with Azure, same with SpaceX and all the X products you see, basically. They're never sitting still. They've got a great product. They're always looking for that next great idea. Let's experiment. Let's try it out. And again, that's where you're coming in. You're feeding those things into it. And that's where the exciting part comes from. Like I said, to me, it has massively changed to computing the way it is. We're all connected together. We can experiment on ideas and see if they're any good. And if not, get rid of them. Lots of ideas are good. Probably for every one good idea, though, probably 10 of them are rubbish. That's absolutely fine. Now, I said to you, we want you to see things which are the industry viewpoints. We're not looking for you to now just have stuff which is, oh, right, okay, that sort of works, and it'll work with one user. We want you to have industry knowledge from us. In this particular case, I've got an example from us. This is set up. It's one I get the students to actually do from us, which I'll just put on the screen here so you can actually see it. So this is converting a SHA-256 hash to clear text. So SHA is a way of encrypting and storing information. So on here, we'll just change it. So if I put A, B, C, you'll see over here it's changing. That's the hash we store. So I'll put JJC in there from us. Oh, I'll put CIB, use Callan's initials instead, from us. And that's the hash. So security, I will store that information. So I want a CIB, I'll have that hash, and therefore that's a secure way of storing information. So I'll just copy that. What this tool is doing is saying, well, actually, if you give me those secure hashes, I will do a lookup and see if I can, in my database, if I've got a copy of the clear text to do it. So if I click on Find Clear Text, click on that, waiting for us, there you go. It tells me CIB. So if I change that across to JJC, there for us, oh, I'll just put A, B, C, D, 4 characters from us. Not everything's in the database. I made the database small just so we can experiment. I think it's about 30 odd, yeah, I think it's about 30 odd million items in the database, if I remember correctly, from us. You can see it working. We're going, well, there's nothing to that. But let's look at it realistically. Right, this is we'll get you to do this, very straightforward. This is industry grade. Okay, this is using a technology called Lambda. Back off the screen from us. This will scale to whatever S3 is the website's running it. API Gateway is doing the processing for security purposes. Lambda does request the information, does the work, does a lookup on a database, sends it back to Lambda, sends it back to you, and then at which point you can see the clear text, which is A, B, C, D. Okay, but that'll work now. it works for me, but actually if 1,000 people did this at the same time, it would make no difference at all. So if I just quickly, if I can find the chat on here from us, it's designed to work well. We're not just simply doing stuff which is a thing. I'll just paste it into the chat. You can feel free to try yourself. It makes no difference. If there was 10,000 of you at the same time, this is working. This is not running in some minor system inside Staffs University. You can see up here, actually, I could have left the names to make it easy for you to follow. That is operating at a USD1 at this moment in time. So it's in the United States running. It will scale to whatever you want. And that's the beauty of this. It's the mindset. So that solution I've given you, it's very easy to do, basically, is scalable. Like I said, 10,000 of you could use this at the same time. It's extremely reliable because the cloud company is making this reliable for me. Basically, all I've got to do is write the code. It is secure. There's nothing to hack on here, basically, because any hacking they do will be picked up by API gateway and will then be logged and will block your addresses from us. And it's inexpensive. So right now, what's that costing me from a corporate viewpoint? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If I just put JJC1 in there and then copy that, this is costing me the amount of time it takes to do that lookup. So I'll click clear text. Let's go that for. Let's say it took a second. It probably took less than a second. That's it. That's costing. Now it's costing me nothing. Sitting there doing nothing. You see where the industry's moved. The industry's changed massively. It's not the same industry it was a few years ago. There's lots of things actually changed inside this. And this is just a nice, simple example demonstrating networking, cloud computing, data analytics all at the same time from us, and software engineering, because the software is written that sits inside here from us. But very, very straightforward way to see those things from us. In here, you've got an example going, well, that's just Justin's Mickey Mouse example from us, which will scale to whatever. Well, no. What's changed? Now, this is the Coca-Cola system using the same thing. API gateway going into Lambda and pushing the information. Go back a slide. API gateway going into Lambda, extracting the information. No different. This is the Coca-Cola group who, like I said, a number of years ago, this is 2016, a long time ago, changed the way their Coke machines operated. Rather than running client servers, they run it all as Lambda, basically, going from $13,000 per year in administration to $4,500 per year. With increased usage, it has to be said, if you listen to the talk, they talk about the fact that they had increased usage because the customers were so happy, it was responding more quickly, then at which point they sold more cans of Coke. So it's increased usage and reduction in costs from us, basically. So important industry, understanding what the industry actually wants from us. So thank you for listening in from us. Like I said, from us. In your case, is from us. I've just showed you this is one technology. From us. I want you to, like I said, wherever you're looking at for your degree, hopefully you join us at the University of Staffordshire, but look, are they giving you the state-of-the-art information? Is it what's the industry's actually required? What's moving forward? There's no point just learning very basic HTML in an Apache system. It's just not required any longer, is you find very little, there is some usage for it, but not an awful lot. As I said earlier on, C language. What we want is to have a couple of things. We want you to be confident, we want you to have access to state-of-the-art skills, and we want you to have the ability to learn on how to learn, so you're adaptable. As the company changes, as new technology comes out, which is coming out on a continuous basis, you can change with it, making you extremely highly employable from us, basically, from those. So I put the link on there, but I'll give you that link already. And like I said, my email address, I've already put it in the chat, is just JJC1. My name's Dr. Justin Champion at staffs.ac.uk. Please feel free to email me, ask anything you like, or email anybody at the university, and the messages will get through. Basically, they always bounce them on, so we'll be able to answer any queries you've got. Now we've got a little bit of time left from us. So I've got a second monitor here from us. If there's any questions that have sort of come out, anything that sort of pops up really, you want to ask or anything, I'm more than happy to answer things. Our courses, choices, you know, equipment, things we should be thinking about at this moment in time from us. No, that's fine. Like I said, it's fine. Again, it's always difficult when you ask these questions from us, because again, we run the thing. You know, hopefully I've provided lots of information. We'll say just the information here. You're watching state-of-the-art computing now, as you're watching me now from us. Basically, this is cloud computing. This computer I'm sitting on has nowhere near the amount of compute power to be able to possibly let was it 5 or 6 people, how many's here from us? Actually, a few more than that now, from us to actually listen to this talk from us. Therefore, this is pushed into Microsoft Azure environment where it's re-rendered and is then pushed out from Microsoft Azure. You're seeing state-of-the-art cloud computing now as we're talking at this moment in time from us, basically. So if there's any more, let me just quickly look on the chat, see if there's anything on the chat. No, there's nothing on the chat from us. So if that's fine, please feel free to email me anytime you like. It's not a problem at all. I'll answer those questions from us. And like I said, thank you very much for listening into my time and giving me a chance to talk about some computing with you, postgraduate computing at the University of Staffordshire.